Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever noticed how the biggest problems don't show up with flashing lights? They show up quietly, slowly, almost politely. And by the time people realize what's happening, it already feels too late. That's exactly what's happening right now with Social Security, and most people have no idea how close this is to affecting their daily life. When people hear Social Security cuts, they usually think it's just a retirement issue, like it only matters if you're already old or already collecting checks. So they tune it out. But that's the trap. Because Social Security isn't just a benefit program. It's one of the biggest money pipelines in the entire U.S. economy. And when that pipeline slows down, even a little, the shock doesn't stay contained. It spreads. Think about this for a second. Every single month, millions of people receive Social Security payments. Those payments don't sit in savings accounts for long. They get spent: rent, groceries, gas, medicine, utilities, basic stuff. That money moves from retirees to landlords, to stores, to workers, to banks. It keeps local economies breathing. Now imagine what happens when that flow starts shrinking. Not all at once, not dramatically, but quietly. A smaller check here, a delayed payment there, a cost of living increase that doesn't keep up. At first, it doesn't look like a crisis. It looks like things just feel tighter. And that's when real damage starts. According to official projections from SSA.gov and CBO.gov, the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to face funding shortfalls in the coming years if nothing changes. If that happens, benefits could be automatically reduced to match incoming payroll taxes. That means cuts across the board. And here's the part most people don't fully understand. When you reduce income for tens of millions of people at the same time, you're not just changing personal budgets. You're changing national spending patterns. And spending is the engine of the economy. Let me make this very simple. When people have money, they spend it. When they spend it, businesses earn it. When businesses earn it, they hire and pay workers. When workers feel secure, they spend more. That cycle keeps everything moving. Now reverse it. When people get less money, they cut back. Not because they want to, because they have to. They buy cheaper food. They skip doctor visits. They stop fixing small problems before they become big ones. Businesses earn less, not all at once, but week by week. A few fewer customers, smaller receipts, quiet afternoons that used to be busy, hours get reduced, not announced loudly, just fewer shifts, shorter schedules. Workers notice it immediately. Prices go up to compensate. Because businesses still have rent to pay, still have utilities, still have loans. So they raise prices, hoping customers won't notice too much. Workers feel less secure, even if they still have a job. Because uncertainty is contagious. That's how slow economic crashes begin. Not with headlines, with hesitation. People don't panic. They pause. They say things like, "Let's wait another month. Maybe later. Just in case." Here's something important. Many retirees depend on Social Security for most of their income. Not for vacations, not for extras, for survival. This is grocery money, rent money, medicine money. So when benefits get cut, it doesn't mean less shopping. It means skipped meals, late rent, unpaid bills. It means tough choices made quietly at the kitchen table. And that stress doesn't stay isolated. Because when a parent is struggling, families notice. Families step in. Adult children help parents. Sometimes a little at first. Sometimes more than they planned. A few $100s here, a bill paid there. Savings that were meant for emergencies get drained. Money set aside for kids, for repairs, for peace of mind. And suddenly, working families are carrying more weight than they expected. Not because they were reckless, but because someone they love needed help. Now ask yourself this. What happens when millions of working families are already dealing with high prices, rent increases, and job uncertainty? And then they also have to support aging parents? They stretch, they juggle, they sacrifice, and eventually something gives. That's not a theory. That's a pressure cooker. And pressure cookers don't need much to explode. Here's another thing people miss. Social Security payments are reliable. They arrive on schedule. Month after month, like clockwork. Even when the economy is messy, even when inflation spikes, even when other programs stumble, Social Security checks show up. That predictability matters more than people realize. It's not just money. It's reassurance. It's knowing that the basics are covered, that the lights stay on, the fridge stays full, the medicine gets bought. When people trust that money is coming, they plan around it. They set budgets. They schedule bills. They keep routines. They make small plans for the week, the month, even the year, based on that certainty. They spend with confidence, not extravagantly, not recklessly, but with purpose. They buy what's needed. They invest in stability. They circulate money into the local economy, supporting others along the way. Confidence doesn't mean luxury. It means stability. It means a sense of control over life, a sense of, I can handle tomorrow because I know what to expect today. But when trust starts to crack, even slightly, behavior changes fast. It's subtle at first. A person hesitates before ordering groceries. Another waits to pay a bill until the very last minute. A neighbor stops fixing a leaky pipe because they're unsure if money will be there next month. People freeze spending, not out of fear, out of caution. Caution spreads quietly. It creeps into routines, into choices, into daily life. They delay decisions. They postpone repairs. They hold off on helping others. Small things, like picking up prescriptions early or replacing a broken appliance, suddenly feel risky. They pull back just in case. Not recklessly, not dramatically, but consistently. The subtle cutbacks add up month after month across millions of households. And when millions of people do that at the same time, the economy slows without anyone announcing it. No alarms, no breaking news. Just quieter stores, shorter hours, longer worries. Cash registers ringing less often, sidewalks feeling emptier. Community energy fading slowly, almost unnoticed. That's why delays, confusion, or uncertainty around benefits are dangerous, even before cuts happen. Because the damage starts in behavior, not in numbers, not in policy announcements. It starts in what people do with their money. Because uncertainty alone is enough to change behavior. And when behavior changes, the entire chain of economic activity begins to shift. From consumers to businesses, from businesses to employees, from employees back to consumers. The cycle slows, confidence drops, and the ripple can eventually reach everyone, even those who thought they were insulated from Social Security changes. It's quiet, it's gradual, but the impact is real. Now let's talk about local businesses. Your neighborhood grocery store, your local pharmacy, the diner down the street. A huge portion of their regular customers are retirees, consistent customers, predictable spending. If those customers suddenly spend less, even by a small amount, margins get tight. And small businesses don't have much cushion. They raise prices, they cut staff, they shorten hours, and the ripple keeps moving. Here's where it starts hitting people who think this has nothing to do with them. When businesses cut hours, workers lose income. When income drops, spending drops. When spending drops, more businesses feel pressure. This isn't about age, it's about cash flow. Now let's talk numbers for a moment, without getting complicated. Social Security is one of the largest anti-poverty programs in the country, according to SSA.gov. It keeps millions of people above the poverty line. So when benefits shrink, poverty risk grows. And increased poverty doesn't just hurt individuals, it strains everything else. Healthcare systems, housing assistance, local support programs, all of that costs money, which means higher taxes, higher deficits, or cuts somewhere else. There is no free option. Now here's something that should really make you pause. This isn't a sudden disaster waiting to happen tomorrow morning, it's a slow-moving one. And slow-moving problems are the hardest for people to react to. Because nothing feels urgent until it does. People assume leaders will fix it later. But fixes usually come with trade-offs: higher retirement ages, higher payroll taxes, lower benefits. And no matter which option gets chosen, someone feels squeezed. Timing makes it worse. If cuts happen during inflation, they hit harder. If they happen during economic slowdown, they hit harder. If they happen when people already feel stretched, the impact multiplies. And let's be honest, a lot of people already feel stretched. Rent is high, Food is expensive, savings feel thin. This is not a comfortable moment for millions of families. That's why economists worry about confidence. Because confidence isn't just emotional, it's economic. Confident people spend, uncertain people don't, and uncertainty spreads faster than fear. Now let me bring this back to real life. Maybe you're not retired, but you probably know someone who is. A parent, a grandparent, a neighbor. If their income drops, even a little, what changes for you? Do you help with groceries, rent, medical costs? Those decisions add up, and they add pressure in places people didn't expect. Here's another angle that doesn't get enough attention. When younger workers start doubting whether Social Security will exist for them, trust erodes. Not all at once, but quietly. It starts as a thought in the back of the mind. Then it turns into a question. They ask, why am I paying into something I might never see? At first, it toggled just curiosity. But over time, curiosity becomes skepticism. That mindset weakens the system long-term. Because systems like this rely on shared belief, not just rules. They work because people agree to participate together. Across generations, once belief fades, participation feels forced, like a deduction instead of a promise. And forced systems don't age well. People disengage emotionally. They stop caring about outcomes. They assume the worst and plan around it. According to CBO.gov projections, incoming payroll taxes alone will not fully cover scheduled benefits in the future without changes. That's not an opinion. That's math. That gap doesn't disappear on its own. It either gets filled by policy changes or by cuts. And cuts echo. They don't stop with one group. They ripple outward. Now think about this. Economic crashes don't always look like stock market collapses. Sometimes they look like exhaustion, people working more hours and still falling behind, families delaying everything, not vacations, everything, repairs, medical visits, life plans, communities feeling quieter, fewer open businesses, less foot traffic, less energy. That's how slow breakdowns feel. Nothing dramatic, just heavy. And this is why preparation matters more than panic. Panic is loud. Preparation is quiet. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Awareness gives people options. Fear takes them away. The people who get hit the hardest are the ones who assumed this didn't apply to them, until it did. Now you might be wondering, what can I actually do with this information? First, pay attention, not emotionally, practically. Notice patterns. Watch policy conversations. Read beyond headlines. Second, understand that Social Security changes don't stay in one lane. They spill into everything: housing, jobs, prices, family dynamics. What looks like a retirement issue often becomes a household issue. And third, stay informed from official sources, not rumors, not clips taken out of context. For full details, I've added the official links in the video description. You can visit ssa.gov and cbo.gov and verify the information yourself. No opinions, no rumors, just facts. I'm working on a full video that breaks down what potential changes could look like, who might be affected first, and what people are quietly doing to adjust. You'll see it right after this one on the end screen. Before you go, let me ask you something simple. Which city are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. And if this helped connect some dots for you, hit the like button. It really helps more people see this. For clear and simple updates without the noise, subscribe to the channel. Because the next phase of this conversation is where things start getting very real. And most people still aren't ready for it.